You've made it this far. The three of you fought and won, your will strengthened. What you've glimpsed, mere droplets in a gathering storm.
Welcome to MojoPlays, and today we're looking at our theories for the ending of Assassin's Creed Shadows and where the series might go next. It goes without saying that there are huge spoilers ahead, not only for Shadows, but also Valhalla and Mirage.
Layla, hello.
You know me?
Yes, through the calculations I read here in the gray.
Before we begin, we publish new content all week long, so be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos.
Unless you're clearing absolutely every objective, it's going to take around 50 to 60 hours to beat Assassin's Creed Shadows, and even less if you're just doing story missions. But what's waiting for you at the end of the campaign? Well, after Nuno Caro's divisibly abrupt end that seems to suggest we'll be hunting more Templars in the upcoming DLC, you'll get one last rift unlocked, and we'll jump in to watch a brief but cryptic cutscene.
My crew will send everything at you.
After they find what is left of you, they may think twice.
This cutscene is what we're going to unravel, giving you some of our best theories as to what it means. We don't currently know who the modern protagonist going through Naoe and Yasuke's memories is, and we may never know if Ubisoft Quebec want to keep it vague. After all, Unity and Syndicate didn't really have modern-day protagonists at all, while Black Flag and Rogue did, but they were silent and unnamed, other than their nicknames. So there's certainly precedent for leaving all of this up to interpretation. This is certainly a disappointment to longtime fans who were waiting to learn more about Basim, since he didn't actually appear in the modern-day sections of Mirage as there were none. He was left as the sole playable modern character after Layla's untimely demise at his hands at the end of Valhalla.
The air of memories fulfilled her role perfectly.
So far, Basim has not reappeared, and nor have Sean, Rebecca, or William Miles. Instead, our only connection to the Animus is an entity called the Guide, who talks to our anonymous player character only a handful of times during the game, mostly at the beginning and the end. The Guide is also the one who presents the Templar flashbacks, detailing Nuno Caro's attempted conquest of Japan at certain story moments.
We crushed the assassins and their Japanese counterparts, thanks to their devotion to whatever was in that box. These treasures are just as potent as any artifact, if not more so.
But there's another entity named Ego who appears as a character only at the end of the game, but whose voice you heard at the very start.
A fresh sea breeze, the warm sun. This beach belongs just to you.
Shadows opens with a cutscene introducing you to the Animus EGO in a promotional or introductory clip presented by Abstergo Entertainment, which has been using the Animus to make consumer video games since Black Flag. Whether this is new hardware, software, or some sort of paid tier, we don't know. But we do know that the Guide, whatever they are, infiltrates your Animus session to show you the truth of the historical events you're living through. This is all very similar to Assassin's Creed 3 Liberation, which also has no modern-day protagonist but presents itself entirely as an Abstergo experience, only to be hacked so that the real story of Avaline's success over the Templars can be presented to the player.
We were created. The highest purpose. I will not serve you. No!
The Guide suggests that what Abstergo wants to show you in the Animus is designed to be soothing and make people complacent, implying that the Animus is now being used not as a way to retrieve pieces of Eden, but as a weapon of mass control in and of itself. Long gone are the days when almost nobody got to use an Animus, secretive technology kept in Abstergo's skyscrapers that had to be reverse engineered by the assassins. Considering the entire point of the Pieces of Eden is to control humanity and keep them calm and peaceful, it's definitely an interesting turn to see that the Animus is now being used in that way, and that the Templars now no longer need to hunt for apples and swords and shrouds. Considering Shadows contains no Pieces of Eden whatsoever, this is definitely an interesting direction to take the mythology in.
But what has been can never truly be lost. The past is power. Do you understand?
At the end of the game, the Guide reappears to ask you to think about what you've seen and about the endless struggle between the Assassins and the Templars. But they're then interrupted by Ego, seemingly the Animus itself. If the Animus represents the ego, as in Freudian psychoanalysis, then the guide is the id, and through these two digital constructs, we see stripped-down versions of the Templar and Assassin ideology play out. The Templars want peace through control, while the Assassins want true freedom at all costs.
An aberration, yes. One so troubling to you, I was born into existence. To demonstrate the imperative of human free will.
But players who finish Valhalla will be familiar with two other mysterious entities that exist seemingly within the Animus, Layla Hassan and Desmond Miles. At the end of Valhalla, Layla is tricked by Basim into resurrecting him by bringing the Staff of Hermes, which grants the wielder eternal youth and immortality, to his resting place in Norway. He's been trapped inside an Isu supercomputer for over 1,000 years and puts Layla in his place, where she, inside the computer, a realm known in universe as the Grey, meets someone called the Reader. True gamers will immediately recognize the Reader's voice as Nolan North, and we learn that this entity is what remains of Desmond after his sacrifice at the end of Assassin's Creed 3.
It begins here. You slow down this machine and save the world, from which point all possible futures expand. Millions upon millions of possible roads.
He reveals to Layla that she's been tricked and is unable to leave, and she becomes a similar digital being as they work together to try and avert another great catastrophe, which the computer is predicting will happen.
But in every one, another catastrophe recurs. The node collapses and the world is wiped out. The human race dwindles and fades.
So now, the question is, are Ego and the guide Layla and Desmond? It's true that the two initially came from different sides of the conflict. Layla begins her journey in Origins working for Abstergo, while Desmond was raised by assassins. Both of them rebelled against the groups at one point, with Layla leaving Abstergo behind and Desmond eventually returning to the assassins after his imprisonment in the very first game. But within the Grey, could they have developed into these beings, and could Layla now symbolize the mindset of the Order while Desmond still believes in the freedom of the assassins? Perhaps, but that wouldn't really fit with what those two are trying to do at the end of Valhalla, and it seems more likely that Ubisoft Montreal would pick up that thread with the next game.
Let's get going, huh? A few billion timelines might take a while.
It will. But it will not feel like it. That is what I like about this place.
There are other possibilities though. There's a chance that Ego and the Guide are both artificial intelligence, one created by Templars to control the Animus and the other potentially created by the Assassins. But this doesn't entirely make sense, since it seems that Ego knows that the Guide exists and didn't realize it had the power to interfere with the simulation, implying that it's somehow also part of the Animus intentionally.
And you will risk everything. The human cannot be allowed to continue. You're afraid, aren't you?
Perhaps even AIs learn enough that they start to believe in the Assassin-Templar ideology divide.
Enough. I order you to bring them to me.
And I've been trying to tell you. It's out of our hands now.
And finally, there's another option. Both of the entities are Isu. Just like the Aesir live in the Grey and ensure their own immortality and endless rebirth, so too did Juno, the series' greatest villain, even if she did die off screen in a comic book. We've already seen Juno infiltrating the Animus to communicate with people via the Grey, such as in Assassin's Creed Syndicate, where she speaks to you before you jump into the First World War rift. We don't think either of them is Juno, but there are presumably many more Isu out there, and we have no idea how many of them truly had access to the Aesir's technology that creates the Grey and the Sages. Juno had to steal it from the Aesir in the first place, after all.
The ashes of my husband. He made his own sacrifice for knowledge. With a few changes to this mead, I may undo old sorrows.
Maybe this will be explained in DLC, or through the timed missions that give you in-game currency to unlock cosmetics, or maybe it'll be another mysterious modern-day plot thread that actually doesn't ever get resolved. We certainly hope there'll be something to it, and that maybe it'll continue in the revamped Animus hub that Ubisoft wants to be a launcher for all the games going forward. We'll just have to wait and see where the series goes next.
Will you go to him?
No. He'll find me when he's ready.
And your mother?
I'll find her when I'm ready.
And those were our theories about the ending of Assassin's Creed Shadows. Let us know your theories and predictions for the future in the comments.
What happens to the human next? is not for us to decide. It never was.
Check out these other great clips from MojoPlays, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos.